Yo, what's poppin'? Amaze, and holy shit, dude. Call of the Night is peak as fuck. This anime was actually way better than I was expecting going into it, so I'm probably gonna spoil the hell out of it, so just keep that in mind, and yeah. Let me get into it, I guess. So I suppose the best description I can give the show is that it's kind of a slice of life rom-com-esque anime. Reason I say kind of is because it doesn't really take the traditional approach to it, you know, like a school or workplace setting, but instead it opts to have the vast majority of the show take place at night, while the characters just kind of bum around, I guess. Which, I mean, I know, who would have guessed? A show called Call of the Night takes place at night, but I mean, it's dope nonetheless, because the whole vibe of the show just feels different from others in the genre, and I mean the nocturnal setting contributes heavily to that, especially since they had a pretty heavy focus on just like cool nightlife visuals. I'll probably add like a screenshot or video of what I'm talking about, but I mean just looking at some of these shots, it just looks nice, especially with the art style they went for. The character designs really get to shine, and the shots they go for really just pop as a result. That and just the idea to have a story take place purely at night was pretty cool, since I don't think I've ever really seen that in an anime. Like there's night settings like in Bleach or like Fire Force or any just like romance anime with a fireworks festival, but the whole plot or story being just like nightlife and nighttime adventures, that's just pretty cool to me. Going on to actual plot though, it's pretty interesting. It revolves around our protagonist Yamori wanting to become a vampire and having to do so by making the deuteragonist Nazuna fall in love with him. All this goes down due to a chance encounter between the two after Yamori decides to leave his house at midnight because he's just bored as shit. So Yamori, he's a pretty interesting protagonist. Dude is a model student that became hella disillusioned and just bored as fuck with school because he ended up just doing the same mundane shit every day. So he started just gradually ditching and ended up just not going, period. He has friends, but he's still kinda just a loner. Without a loan, he's pretty different from most rom-com as protagonists. There are some similarities with other ones, but at least from the shows I've seen, his character is somewhat unique. That's not all though. He's also a character that just doesn't know, or I guess comprehend, the concept of love, and dude kinda just believes that he's incapable of feeling that, at least romantically, towards someone. So he's kinda just set up perfectly for the situation he gets into, but I'll touch on that a little bit later. Appearance wise, he's pretty okay. He kinda just looks like he doesn't sleep at all, which is kinda cool and in character. I do kinda wish they'd trip him out a bit more though. He kinda just consistently has one outfit from what I can remember. Nazuna though, she's peak as fuck. Appearance wise, she has this dope cloak she roams around with, and they just look sick in some of the shots she's in. Her hairstyle is also pretty unique. I don't think I've actually seen it at all in another anime, although that might just be me writing. She's also the main source of fan service, which I mean, she's cute as fuck, so I'm not really complaining. Writing wise though, she's dope as shit. She's presented as the answer, or I guess just everything Yamori was looking for. She injects this thrill into his life that he hasn't been able to find anywhere else. On the outside, she's fun as fuck, charismatic, easygoing, and kinda just dope personality wise. And as it's later revealed, on the inside, she's kind of the same as Yamori, in the sense that she's just bored as hell with her current situation. So when Nazuna decides to offer some help and introduce Yamori to the thrills of the night, she also does it because she too kind of just wants to have fun, and not as like this grand savior as it's originally presented. They enjoy their time together, and when Nazuna reveals that she's a vampire to him, Yamori kind of just wishes to be turned so he can forever just escape his boring ass life and enjoy the nightlife. This is when the show starts becoming a rom-com. The only way Yamori can get turned into a vampire is by falling in love with Nazuna. Problem is, Nazuna is easily embarrassed by the subject and doesn't want anything to do with love. On top of that, he's also on a time limit of like a year, so the guy who doesn't get the concept of loving someone has to fall for a girl who's not gonna make any effort to raise him up. That's the main premise of the anime. It's a 13 episode show, but it doesn't stagnate and go nowhere. After hanging out with Nazuna a couple nights, we're introduced to Yamori's friends, Akira and Mahiru, who were both fairly likable, as well as other vampires who provide the series with conflicts, as well as other viewpoints into what being a vampire really is. To give a bare bones summary of what goes down, Yamori basically learns some of the negatives of vampirism, like not being able to really connect with anyone. He also sees the indifference some vampires have towards human lives, as well as the horrors of what happens to people that get turned unwillingly or just desperately cling on to their humanity. which I thought was sick as fuck, since throughout this show and in just media in general, the idea of vampirism is heavily romanticized, and even some of the negatives are framed to be somewhat sympathetic. This show does it too, but it also just kind of somewhat just shits on it. In like literally the last 3 episodes of the show, they just basically set up the whole charm of it and then just tear it down by making Yamori go through it mentally. Like in episode 11, it starts off pretty normally and we see Yamori meeting a detective and having a somewhat weird interaction with her, as well as just like wholesome hangout scenes with him and his friends as he investigates scary rumors around their school at night. At the very end of their cute little montage, they're attacked by a feral vampire in a series of scenes that were so fucking sick to watch. They were framed like a horror movie and it kind of just hits you with it out of nowhere. It was honestly really good since it just gives you this tension, and the anime really just handled this pocket super well. As a result of this attack, Yamori has his whole viewpoint just fucked. It's elevated more when they're saved by the detective Yamori met earlier, and it turns out they're a vampire hunter. And fuck, I mean, I forgot her name, but dude, she basically terrorizes Yamori and ridicules his dream of becoming a vampire. She belittles him, threatens him, and just fucking sends the police on him for roaming around at like 3 a.m. Like she's dead ass just a villain. Like she's a grown ass woman and she's threatening to hunt down and kill a teenage boy if he becomes a vampire. Like she's something else. The ending of the show was super good though, because at that point in time, the cool hangouts, the sick nightlife, it all kind of just seems like a distant memory, and it really seems like Yamori's world is just shattered, and you can tell like he's visibly disturbed. He's lost and scared, but he has his faith renewed and is guided on the right path by a vampire he previously met. They go through some stuff, and in the end he finds Nazuna and reaffirms his conviction to fall in love with her in a scene that parallels their first encounter, which was dope as fuck. So yeah, I glanced over a fuck ton regarding the show, and especially the ending here. I know I said I would be spoiling it, but I never really like to completely give everything away. So if you watch this without seeing the show first, you can still go check out the anime and find some enjoyment in watching it. Also, I don't want the video to be 20 minutes long, and if I were to go on about every vampire he meets and the cool shit with Nazuna, the video would for sure be at least like 15-20, so there's that. I'd also usually go on about like negatives or different viewpoints regarding the show, but I mean, I'm biased as fuck on this one. I thought it was a banger. I did see some MAO reviews bashing it for fan service though, but I mean, that's kind of basically just saying nothing, since that's literally just the norm on that website. Like deadass, anything even just remotely showing off an anime girl, or I guess even an anime guy, is just like, oh bro, get this shit off my screen, it's fucking fan service, ecchi trash. And it's like, come on dog, be better. I also saw people bagging on it because it had a like 100-year-old vampire be the romantic interest of like a teenager, and I mean shit, yeah dude, that's fucking tough. But I kind of just saw it in the vein as Twilight in a way, since I mean a relationship with a vampire is always gonna have this unrealistic ass age gap. So I mean, to me it kind of just didn't phase me like that. It kind of just was what it was. It's incel as fuck, and I kind of just hate saying this, but dude, it's just an anime. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. With that being said though, I do recommend the show. It's different than any like slice of life rom-com anime I've seen, and I honestly thought it was a great show. Definitely got more out of it than I was expecting. I deadass went into it thinking it'd be like some ecchi trash, but I mean, I got peak instead, so there's that. The show's honestly really good. There wasn't like an episode that made me be like, oh damn, this is kinda ass, or oh, this missed in some sort of way. It would just really peak overall, and it honestly kind of just put the nighttime in a new light to me. Like I've always been a nocturnal person, but this really made me be just like, hey, nighttime really is just a vibe. It's just fucking sick. I mean, that's the whole thing about the show. It's trying to like show off the nightlife, and it really excelled in that aspect. And yeah, my bad on the shit ass upload times. I said in my last video that I wouldn't go on a 2-week death period, and ooh, I didn't. I went on a damn near month-long one instead. So yeah, I suck. I will do better though. So for sure, just like the video, comment if you'd like, subscribe to the channel. Although it might not look like it, I am attempting to grow, so that'd be sick. So passing the channel and video around would be appreciated. Oh, and check out my previous video. It's on Absolute Duo. It's like a harem ecchi kind of show. It kind of flopped hella, so sprinkling some more attention over to it and my other videos in general would be dope. Expect some more content soon, for real this time, and yeah, that's about it. Later.